This is Jerry Mitchell, and we are back with another episode of Libertarian Uncensored podcast, going over all the posts on the Libertarian Uncensored subreddit. Let's get right into it. First, we have poll: should the IOC ban all Russian and Belarusian athletes from the Summer Olympics next year? And that's why I said voted no. If individuals want to participate, I think they should be able to. I don't care for the actions of the Russian government, but I know, like with the U.S. government, the average citizen has very little say on what their government does. Also, you can't say you oppose discrimination and support in other instances like this one. So the poll was 19 votes yes to 11 votes no. And I wanted to try and see if I added anything. I said, let's see, I do think the IOC as a private organization should be able to ban whoever they want, but I personally would not support them banning anyone for reasons I saw as unjust, like Lester Maddox's chicken shop not serving blacks back in the 1960s. Also something I was against, but I do think he should have been able to do it under freedom of association. I also saw a comment that says, what was the other comment that I wanted to talk about? Was by, u/high side 77, 79. Also, he said, also, you can't say you oppose discrimination and support it. And it was just like this one. They said, why not? And I said, that's a fair point. You would just look like a hypocrite, but so does everyone else these days, I would say. Then we have Reddit in a nutshell from Declaration of Memes. That's the my title for the post. That's the meme is it's a picture of the U.S. It's easy to be a communist in a free country, but try being free in a communist country. And that's so I said I think it would be much easier for most people to be a libertarian under an authoritarian government, in my opinion, though they would be less likely to be able to express their beliefs without some form of state punishment. Then we have the front line in Ukraine on January 1st, 2023 versus today after tens of billions in military aid. Big question for lawmakers. Why should we believe that 24 billion more or even 100 billion more will make any difference at all? From Sager and Jetty on Twitter, and I posted that and I said, it's a grift and we're never going to get paid back for it. And I said, and I said, Livio X responded, I love how the guy in the OP don't even realize that Ukraine fighting Russia to a standstill will be a testament to the effectiveness of our military all its own. If you truly want a picture of our age accomplished, look at the front lines on October 1st, 2022, before the collapse of the Northern Front, or July 4th, 2022, the last Russian offensive before the arrival of Mars. And I said, even if that's true, why should the U.S. be forking over billions to prolong the war? War is already bad enough when it comes to death and destruction. We shouldn't be justifying having them go on for as long as possible. Then we have Vladimir Putin's Russia claims to be fighting Nazis but is persecuting anti-fascists from Jacobin.com from China20. That's crosswords from the anti-fascists of Reddit. I agree with the comment from Liz for your Spassier. Maybe he hates all totalitarians, Nazis, and commies alike. We would almost make sense, but I doubt it since he's a totalitarian and needs to be a hired killer for his local faction of communists. The thing is, yeah, I agree with that. Vladimir Putin's an authoritarian tyrant who just wants to get all the other authoritarian tyrants out of the way, he's no different from the rest of them, I would say, at least Russia's more so openly authoritarian, like a country like the U.S., which pretends to be more libertarian, but is really, I would argue, just as authoritarian almost, but they try and hide it. Then we have Ron DeSantis says Republicans lacked confidence to be labeled racist from FloridaPolitics.com, another crosswords from the anti-fascist Reddit subreddit, and, yeah, they posted this 3 days ago. I think I went on this on the last one, but I said for the last response, when you throw labels like Nazi or racist around constantly, eventually they start to lose meaning. Read "Boy, You Cried Wolf," and yeah. You're seeing sometimes the mayor of Dallas just switched from Democratic to Republican, so you're increasingly seeing minorities slowly drift towards the Republican Party because they don't like all the woke stuff that the Dems are doing. So I think that's something that's important to remember. And you can't always just play the race card and expect to win every time. That's like what Bob Menendez is doing. He's saying, "Oh, I'm a Latino. This is how I store money." When he's exposed to be hoarding money in gold bars, and that's just you just can't let the race card be an automatic victory card every time. I would say you can't just use identity politics to your advantage every time. Then we have inside the growing cult of El Salvador's Nayib Bukele, Latin America's political star from LATimes.com, number one by Chad 20, across from the Social Democracy subreddit, and I said, guy seems to be somewhat libertarian, like a Javier Milei type. Wish we had more of that up here in the States. Then we have Europe's rightward drift is not set in stone. Our new research should give hope to the left, from Julia Kage and Thomas Piketty. From China 20 from TheGuardian.com, across from the Social Democracy subreddit, and I said, if the left wants to be successful, it needs to abandon all the woke stuff that you find on r/stupid poll. I used to be a Bernie supporter before I changed my views on economics because he emphasized class issues over red poll ones, but the Dems decide that preaching at poll above all else is more important than them wonder why their support is narrowing. Then we have California governor signs libertarian law barring schoolbook bans based on objective science-based racial gender teachings from APnews.com from 2020. And I said, I personally don't think forcing standards on anyone is that libertarian. I don't think the state should be making decisions about what constitutes objective truth. Then we have Vivek is overcompensating for not being a boomer by threatening to ban social media for teenagers from Angela McCardle on Twitter. I posted that, and I said, definitely not libertarian. A lot of social media can really fuck kids up, but it should not be the role of the state, but rather that of the parent or guardian to determine what children have access to. Generally, children are dependent on their parents for resources. If children want to obtain their own resources, by all means, they should be able to do so. Yeah, that's my thoughts. There, and I think I personally wouldn't let my kids have access to the social media until they were a certain age, or probably the internet as a whole, I would say. But if other parents want to do so, I think they should be able to. It's not my job to force my cultural standards onto other people. That's something I believe as a libertarian. There are some cultural standards I think that I personally would justify as enforce would be justified enforcing, like not having sex with kids, but that's more something I view as a NAP violation. As long as NAP isn't being violated according to my standards, I think it's just I don't want to be forcing my cultural standards onto other people, I would say. Then we have Yelp sues Texas to defense labeling crisis pregnancy centers from CNN.com, and I guess that's good, because I think I think private businesses should be able to label things whatever they want to, and I don't think the state should be able to tell them otherwise. Then we have Turkey and Azerbaijan's advantage against Putin's plans for Nova Russia from SVHX.news from Engaged Ape, and that's about how I really don't care for what Turkey and Azerbaijan are doing, but sadly, the enemy of the enemy is my friend, and Turkey and Azerbaijan are more allied against the U.S., more allied line with the U.S. than they are with Russia. So that means they're on the U.S.'s side. So I personally think the U.S.'s side probably is a stronger argument, but I don't like how the Azerbaijan is doing ethnic cleansing in Armenian arts and Artsakh, and then how Turkey, they're an authoritarian country as well. Of how long Erdogan's been in power, and they had that Saudi journalist killed there as well a few years ago. So I personally think Russia's not good, but I don't think Turkey and Azerbaijan are that good either, I would say. Then we have extremism is bad, actually, from the Social Democracy across from the Social Democracy subreddit, and it looks like it's been removed. But I said what did I say? Depends on what extremism we are talking about, and what is labeled as extremism in a world where pretty much any questioning of the official party narrative is seen as such. Extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice, and that's from Barry Goldwater quote. Then we have central bank digital currencies are the end of freedom. If you control a person's ability to access their finances and how they use those finances, you might as well be controlling their ability to breathe. From LP National on Twitter, and I posted that, and I said, agreed. Sadly, it looks like it, and a Chinese-style social credit system might be not far behind in the for the U.S. Stand your ground and hold the line. Then we have Russia, Putin, and ideological subversion from powerful JRE on YouTube, and I posted that, and I said, I really like the point Joe makes at 412. The media blames everything on Russia, but can't bother to think about any other reason why people might be disaffected with them in the government. You know, it's just you can't just say Russia, 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 and you just can't use Russia as an excuse to get rid of all your problems. Like that's what a lot of the regime seems to be doing these days. They're just saying Russia, Russia, Russia. That's all the reason for all our problems, and they need to stop that. You just can't use the one boogeyman like the Nazis had with the Jews for all your problems. I would say. You know, that's not libertarian. I would, you need to take personal responsibility, not just find all these excuses. Then we have, for all their supposed fears of fascism, the anti-Rittenhouse people are perhaps most explicit in their claims that if the government has decided it's time for you to be burned alive or beaten or shot, it is your duty to do so. From Michael Malice on Twitter, and I posted that, and I said, I don't think he should, only those who they deem worthy are allowed to be able to defend themselves. If they are in the out-group, they see them as not having the right to self-defense. I don't think he should have been there, but that doesn't mean he just lost the right to self-defense. Then we have Senator Dianne Feinstein, an icon for women in politics, dies at 90, source confirms from abcnews.com by Donald Key, and I said, Dems might as well let her keep the Senate seat since she still has the right letter next to her name. And I added the Dems just reelected a dead person last year, so, it wouldn't be unprecedented. So, I think, that they just wanted, they're also blaming it, she couldn't quit because McConnell wouldn't let her because she was on a committee, and without her, they would have appointed all the Trump judges. So, it's just, I said to that, it's always the other side's fault, never their own. McConnell isn't all their either, which is why the LP is filing for conservatorship over him and Biden. And Phoenix Ammunition tweeted, they're gonna do free, good riddance, Diane, for free shipping. Evil authoritarians should be mocked to death, they say, where they're in life. I personally think each their own. I guess personally I don't celebrate people's deaths, so I think it's tacky if they were complete authoritarian jerks like Hitler or Bin Laden, but if you want to celebrate people's deaths, I think you should be able to, I would say. I think that's libertarian. Celebrate whatever you want, as long as you're not hurting anyone else. Physically, I would say, for feelings, I guess, if, they might be hurting some people's feelings, but, that's, sometimes feelings are going to get hurt, and that's just how life is sometimes. Then we have, why support wholesale, voluntary state, and private euthanasia? Why do we force people to be alive to enable capitalism? From China 20 across from the Breaking Points News subreddit. And I said, Canada already kind of has it with MAID. If you want to commit suicide, I think you should be able to. But I think if you do want the state to help you commit suicide, I think, I personally would be against that. But, I think you should be able to if you want to. If you want to, I personally think, you probably shouldn't let the state trail on you. But if you want the state to trail on you, I think you should be able to, I would say. Then we have Libertarian Discord server from Magic Man 24, and I think we talked about they posted this before, but yeah. So yeah, that's I don't think we have much to talk about there. So next we have Nazi Yaroslav Hunka, invited to the House of Commons in Canada, was previously honored along with dozens of other Waffen SS veterans by the Canadian Congress in 2007. The Ukrainian ambassador to Canada was a special guest at the ceremony and gave a celebratory speech from Duluth, and that's the next post from Yedigen. I don't know what their handle is. Let's see if we can. I don't know if we're gonna get it up. So yeah, I think that just goes to show you how deep in the You read it, it's where the post is from. I just goes to show you how deep in the Ukraine narrative there that you're praising literal Nazis, even because they were associated with Ukraine. So that just goes to show you how the Nazis are the worst thing ever, except when the narrative says otherwise. Then we have Why is Ted Scared of Colorblindness from Coleman Hughes on YouTube, and I posted that, and I said, feels like a hallmark of the modern internet. If you just script narrative of a website that just happens, then that just happens that it just suppresses your content. And that's pretty much how the modern internet works. You know, if when Elon in the outgroup does it, it's when Elon in the outgroup does it, it's the worst thing ever. But when it's done for good narrative approved reasons, like when it was here, it's justified. I do think freedom of association is important, but I definitely think free speech is more important. We can't have it when all dissent is expressed. I personally think it's a free children's term, but I think we need to hold the internet to a free speech standard so that we can allow for as many diverse ideas as possible. You know, if you view freedom of association as being more than free speech, I think they should be able to. But I personally am more on the free speech side, I would say. And then finally, we have racist MAGA Nazi. It says all Western countries must have a white Western leader. You can't have people from other ethnicities from other parts of the world governing your people. Obama was over the line from China 20 across from the conservative terrorism subreddit, and I think that's just, it's kind of just an agenda post. It's just kind of, there are not too many people like this. I think this just might just be like a straw man, or maybe like a Fed just trying to draft a narrative, I would say. And I think as that might be, I think we're gonna wrap it up there, and I'll see you guys next episode. Bye.